Oh, this is a Russian dash cam at recording a Ukrainian attack on Russian convoy.
Вот над газоном висит.
Okay, you could see they're not spreading out. Well, and they got the
I
truck
mean,
there.
it seemed more like the car saw a drone was coming. It tried hiding
Yeah.
behind the truck.
It really could have been.
Yeah,
You know,
car is quickly trying to get.
so luckily that was probably a truck full of bananas and not munitions. You know, it's crazy though, Sam. There's all these roads, and they get so beaten up by these big trucks. And you know, we were moving at night up to Pavlorad, and we're on this road, and man, honestly, we were getting beaten to pieces by this. Craters in it. You know, we had to go around the craters, and then every 10 minutes, a blacked out semi truck would come roaring the other way. You know, it was nuts.
I mean, the U.S. has insane, right? What was the World War II? There was a line where, like, when Japanese soldiers found out that U.S. soldiers were eating ice cream, they knew they lost the war.
In this case, it's like, man, never start a war with people who are going to bring their own music. Okay, so don't do that, man. It never works out. Yeah. So look, he's got the pick of the targets there. Yeah, this is really amazing footage. Okay, that was an Su-24, I think. Okay, that's an Su-30. That is a modern aircraft. This is an M31 Foxbat, MiG-31 Foxbat. I'm sorry, Foxhound is the update. Yeah, Su-27.
I mean, this is where it's confusing, right? I guess even tents would be better protection than just leaving them out in the open. Because tents are easy to put up. Like, it's hard to build something that's like a full enclosed structure, or takes time, I guess, not hard.
It would, or camouflage nets, etc. You know, there's things the Russians do that are, you know, it's just kind of nuts. But, you know, the SBU Alpha guys, I've met and talked with them as well. It's a superb outfit. You know, this is sort of the Delta Force of their.
It's saying a lot of these were basically getting ready to launch, so go out for a mission. That's why they were open.
Yeah, well, you can see, you know, when you're coming up, and you can see the heat off of a bunch of them, like the APUs are started. That MiG-31 had her canopies open.
I mean, that's probably satisfying.
Yeah,
Destroying them before they take off for Ukrainians.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, yeah, an Su-24. Yeah, that's a AN-26. Yeah, but what's cool about this, you are literally seeing these drone operators, and they are shopping for the most relevant targets. And the other thing is, you could say, well, it only hit it in the, in the rudder. Well, you know, it doesn't take much to completely ground an aircraft. Oh, there's just a massive Mi-26. It's bigger than the Sea Stallion. Just this huge moose of an airplane.
And
Not
we actually
anymore.
learned from what was that operation that they carried out in the big one? Spiderweb?
Spiderweb,
Where
yeah.
the drone operators actually worked with like aircraft engineers and stuff to figure out the most impactful location to strike the drone. So I'm guessing that's probably,
Yeah, target analysis. I'm guessing you hit this thing right under the rotor hub, because there's a lot of engine up there, you know, that they're top heavy. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so so right after sundown, well, this guy's on daylight TV. So that's an Mi-8. You can see that it was armed, had some rockets and missiles in it, and this has got to be good stuff. That little under thing said these are ammunition and aviation supplies.
Oh, by the way, completely interesting story. I was reading a article. You know, like around October, July, August, October, we would see a lot of Ukrainian, like a lot of clips from Ukraine of like Russian refineries just going boom. But the interesting part is we're not seeing as much. That's because they worked with the CIA, and CIA actually got people, I think, from Houston, which is interesting because Houston's a big oil town, right? Where there were oil engineers advising Ukrainian drone operators as to what to target that does the most damage. So they're going after now equipment that, even though it doesn't produce booms, it's hard for Russia to replace those. So it's like more of a damage to a refinery now that they're hitting something.
Yeah, we had a colleague when I was working at the Marine Report. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want him to get targeted, but he spent his life as a petroleum engineer, and he worked a lot in Russia. And we would get the best battle damage assessments from him because he'd say, look, there's a cracking tower. This is, there's various things to break. One of the things you want to break is something that takes months to produce and is on back order. Generally, transformers, especially big city ones, you have to order them 4 years in advance. This is a RPG variant. There's like a 30, I had looked up the number, but this is essentially, it's a one-shot anti-armor weapon. They're one of those items that nobody really wants to carry it until you need it, and then you're very glad you have it. But this guy's doing something
right here.
That looks like his NVG holder, that he's got a camera on his helmet, and that's the rack that'll hold your NVGs. But this guy was doing something that I don't know why he was doing. Okay, so here he fired a rocket into that balcony. Good job, hit the balcony and let the thing go in. But now he's doing something crazy that I would never do. Now, see, he's behind the window and he takes the shot. That's right. But, did a good job. But watch this. He fires. Now he throws the rocket launcher out the window in case you didn't know where he is. Now you're just confirming where you were, right? I mean, so if I was in a training situation with this guy, I'd go, okay, why'd you throw it out the window? Right? Before, it would just be a boom.
But also, is it like not valuable at all after you use it? Is it?
You can't reload it. Yeah, they're not of any value. So
okay, so he's just throwing it. Okay.
Yeah, it's just, but if you throw it out the window, you're just, I'm over here. So yeah, I remember this. This was an infantry, I think it was a Ukrainian infantry fighting vehicle. They have like 30 millimeter cannons on them.
It was BTR-4 APC.
What's interesting is that cannon won't technically disable a tank, but if you bang on the back of a tank, the engine cover long enough, bad things are going to happen. And as we've seen, the Ukrainians will use that 30 millimeter or whatever they've got, 20 millimeter, and they will shoot off all the sensors of the tank, right? They'll smash the periscopes, they'll smash the cameras. And the other thing is these Russian tanks, many of them, at this stage in the war, they're carrying huge external fuel, 55-gallon drums for what they call road marching, like extending their range. And once you set that on fire, it's up to the crew how long they want to stay.
Getting out is tough too, right? Because Ukrainian soldiers are there.
Oh, absolutely. If you open that hatch, you're pretty much doomed. Those tanks are actually really crowded. I'm sorry, they just, most Russian tankers are like 5'6". It's so cramped in their vehicles.
And multiple people sometimes, right?
They have the auto loader system, so they eliminated the position of loader. And there was a deliberate reason that NATO kept the loader. If somebody gets hurt, you've got an extra guy. That's important. It wasn't important to the Russians, but NATO tanks generally will have the loader as well as the vehicle commander, the gunner, and the driver.
And now the Russian drones also have the cope cage. So we're watching that.
Yeah, that's working good. So this is an interesting thing. The TOS is a weapon completely unique in warfare. It shoots rockets into the air that rain down like burning magnesium to start fires on a wide range, but they are also what we call sympathetic targets. So there is that thing going off from maybe 3 miles away. So a sympathetic target is something you hit and then it will blow itself up. So this thing, what's going up right now are the solid rocket motors and the incendiary warheads. So this is one vehicle you don't want to be in when it gets hit because that's what happens.
The war footage in the reaction you just watched was one of many videos that we record every single week here at Basics Insider. Our goal is to keep you guys informed and share the reality of Ukraine's heroic fight against Russia. We invite many experts like the former Navy SEAL Chuck Farr, who you just watched. But the problem with posting a lot of these war footage is that, well, YouTube guidelines don't really allow us to post them here uncensored. YouTube often restricts our videos or sometimes even outright deletes it. That's why you saw a lot of blurred and censored footage in this clip. So, to be able to show you full uncensored videos, we built our own platform. This is where you can watch these videos in full length, 100% uncensored. That way we can show you the reality of the war and learn from army experts who have real life experience. So you can join the platform by clicking the link in the description or going to basicsinsider.com. You can also scan the QR code on your screen. Now, YouTube has a habit of restricting our videos because it doesn't consider them advertiser friendly. So if you guys can just take a second to hit the like and subscribe button down below, it really does help us out with the algorithm a lot.